Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. So about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, I want to talk about the New York Giants went over the Eagles last night, man. I haven't talked about the Giants at all this season because the Giants haven't been really much to talk about with the Giants, man. The Giants have been bad for several seasons now. I mean, they've been really bad. But I'm actually shocked they beat the Eagles last night. So, you know, shout out to the Giants. I wanted to talk about them briefly. I know some of you guys had mentioned me wearing my Giants hat in the videos this morning. So, yeah, I broke out the Giants hats, man. Not because they won, but, you know, I had my winter hat on, and I just brought the Giants hat out now for the video. But yeah, man, like I said, that was a great win over the Eagles, man. They've been struggling beating the Eagles, struggling beating the Cowboys in recent memory. So that was a really good win. But I don't even know how to feel about the win, guys. And we're going to talk about it in this video. I don't know how to feel about this, man. It's the part of the problem for the Giants. Very inconsistent. We're going to talk about it briefly. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, you guys know I am truly, truly humble. Much respect to all you guys out there that continue to roll with me. Like I said, continue to support my channel, man. It means a lot, guys. And you guys know what to do, man. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I want to talk briefly about this Giants win over the Eagles, man. That was an excellent win over the Eagles. But, like I said, I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. Because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the Giants season has been jacked up since the beginning. But for them to beat the Eagles last night on the heels of losing to the New Orleans Saints, that was winless. They were winless, the Saints. I believe they were, 0-3, and they beat the Giants last week. And the Giants looked terrible, man. They just had a lot of turnovers, fumbles, interceptions last week. They got shut out in the second half of that game against the Saints. They just, once again, look like the Giants of the last 5 years or so. Just very inconsistent. You know, one game they score 40 or 37, and the next game they score 9. I mean, you never know what you get from the Giants, man. They're one of the worst offenses in the league. I believe they're 20th out of 32 teams in points for. And the defense is horrendous. Giving up, you know, I think they're like 25th ranked defense right now, I think, for points against. So the Giants are not a good team, all right? They beat the Eagles, but they're not a good team. Now, can the Giants, you know, hopefully use that win against the Eagles to springboard them and, you know, maybe string a couple of games in a row here? Maybe so, but they got a tough schedule, man. And like I said, the Giants, to me, their record is 2-4. But what's frustrating for me with the Giants is that, yes, they lost that first game to the Redskins. I watched that game. It was a good game. It was a good game. The Redskins were a better team, though. They were just better than the Giants in that game. The Giants did not look good. The Giants were once again doing Giant things. They couldn't put the ball in the end zone. The Giants were getting down to the red zone, getting down to the goal line, but they couldn't score touchdowns against the Redskins. That's been their problem. They cannot score touchdowns when they get down to the red zone. I believe last year they were the worst red zone team last year in the NFL, guys. And they started the season looking the same. Terrible in the red zone. Could never punch it in for touchdowns. That's their problem with the Giants over the last 4 or 5 years, man. Along with other things also. The talent on the team is not great. You know, Daniel Jones was injured and inconsistent at sometimes. Even though shout out to Daniel Jones, man, the dude seems like he found a home. But the Colts are just a better team. The line, everything. The running back for the Colts, they've got it together. And they got Daniel Jones now looking good. So great for Daniel Jones and the Colts, man. But the Giants, like I said, they've been very inconsistent, man. So they lost that game to the Washington Commanders, right? No doubt. But then they came back the next week against the Cowboys. And the Giants should have won that game. The Giants should have won that game against the Cowboys, hands down, man. They had that game, but once again, the Giants couldn't hold them at the end. They let them come down and tie the game, and then they lose in the overtime because, once again, the Giants can't score any touchdowns. They can't put any points when it matters most, man. And the Giants lose the game to the Cowboys. They should have won that game. So you would have been 1-1 in the division because you're 0-2 in the division before it's winning against the Eagles. And that pretty much destroys you, man. It's hard. You have to essentially win every single division game now from here on out, the Giants, just to have a chance to get in there in the wild card spot. Just a chance, guys. I don't believe they are, but we're going to keep rooting for the Giants regardless. So, like I said, it's a big win because, like I said, they should have won that Cowboys game. Then you lose to the Chiefs, right? And you're 0-3, right? Okay, they lose to the Chiefs, no big deal. They scored 9 points against the Chiefs, though, guys, 9, all right? And then you beat the Chargers? Once again, I just said I don't know how to feel about this Giants team and this win over the Eagles. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm completely shocked that they beat the Eagles. I'm completely, like I said, to me, this says more about the Eagles, I guess, than the Giants, really, because the Giants are not contenders at all. And like I said, I like the new kid, Dart. I remember watching him at Ole Miss. I'm a huge college football fan. You guys know that. So I remember him at Ole Miss. Shout out to Cam Scatterboo. I remember him at Arizona State. I want to say he was at Arizona State. I remember watching him play some games of Arizona State, and I like his running style, right? He was a tough, hard-nosed runner, north-south type runner, right? Not a lot of, side-to-side nonsense with him. He's going to give you, pound that rock. And he looked great yesterday, pounding that rock for 3 touchdowns down there on the goal line. But that's been a problem with the Giants, right? I told you, against the Commanders, they couldn't punch it in. Against the Cowboys, they couldn't punch it in. This is part of the problem for them. Like I said, you beat the Chargers. How, I don't know. They beat the Chargers, who were a quality team. They beat the Chargers. I think the Chargers were undefeated when they beat them. Once again, we talk about, some of these West Coast teams coming out to New York and playing. So, we could chalk it up to them and the traveling and all stuff. Okay, so you beat the Chargers, no doubt. Then I'm expecting the Giants to come out hard against New Orleans. And they dropped the ball, man. Cam Scatterboo had the fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Like I said, Jackson Dart threw a couple of interceptions. No doubt, these guys are rookies, man. That's okay. But you can't have that many turnovers in a game against a New Orleans team and expect to win. They needed to beat that New Orleans team. That was a big-time loss. That was a key game. Early in the season, the Giants would have been 3-2 right now, not 2-3. Oh, excuse me. They would have been 3-3 right now, not 2-4. And that's a huge difference, guys, to be 3-3, 500, not 2-4. Like I said, for the Giants this season, I'm confused. Like I said, I don't know how to feel about that win against the Eagles. The Giants have been known to do this. I remember seasons over the last 5 or 6 years where the Giants are terrible. They have like 3 wins, and we're like 14, 13 weeks into the season. They got 3 or 4 wins, and then all of a sudden the Giants win a couple of games in a row. When you're like, why are you guys winning games? You guys should be losing the rest of these games. Stop messing up your draft status. And they've been doing that for years, man. The Giants were never a team that was always really, really, really bad. They were always just like 6 or 7 wins bad, right? But they were never like 2, 3, 4 wins bad. And that's what it's been going over the last couple of years now. They win some games that you're like confused how they win, and it jacks up their draft. Even though they've been drafting like a bunch of fools, over the past 10 years or so, they've been known to jack up these drafts. But the Giants have gotten some quality players here that are playing right now. This guy, Brian Burns, shout out to Brian Burns. I believe it's his 2nd year with the Giants, man. And he's been looking sensational out there. The dude, I believe, is tied for the league in sacks. I think he has 7 sacks on the season. We got to get Thibodeau to get cranking up a little bit here. I believe he only has a couple of sacks on the season. We need him to be more of a force. Dexter Lawrence. Like I said, the Giants defense is seeming to make some plays here and there, but not consistency. That's the problem for the Giants, is consistency. Like I said, I like the Jackson Dart kid. He's a rookie. They probably should have threw him out there from the beginning of the season, because you throw Russell Wilson out there like the Giants were contenders or something. Why are you throwing Russell Wilson out there? Russell Wilson should have been backing up Dart from the start. You throw Dart out there as a rookie because the Giants have nothing to do. Nothing to play for. So you need him to get experience. Throw him out there week 1. Throw him out there week 2. Get him out there from the start. I don't understand why they had him behind Russell Wilson like the Giants were like trying to play for some wins or contention. Y'all's garbage. Let's live in reality here. All right? The Giants were expected, I think, to win 3 games this season. So they pretty much already matched the win total that they were expected to get this year. No one had the Giants doing anything. So I don't know why they had Russell Wilson in there leading a team that had no expectations. Doesn't make any sense. He should have been backing up Jackson Dart and been that veteran that he could lean on, right? A Super Bowl champion, a guy who's been there and done that, Russell Wilson. Who's at the end of his career. He should have been backing up Jackson Dart and been there, like I said, as a guy, a mentor, someone to let him know, show him, how to read defenses and all this stuff, how to be a professional, all that stuff. But instead, they got, Russell Wilson out there those first couple of weeks, man. And like I said, they should have won that game against the Cowboys, man. He had a really good game, and they jacked that up. But shout out to Cam Scatterboo. Like I said, the guy, Brian Burns, for what he's been doing this season. Scatterboo's a tough, hard-nosed runner. Like I said, that's what the Giants need. A tough, hard-nosed runner that could really be good in the goal line scenarios. That's what they need. Like I said, I don't know what the Giants are going to do this year. Like I said, I wasn't expecting them to do much. The fact that they beat the Eagles, to me, was a huge win. But like I said, I don't know how to feel about it because the Giants are very inconsistent, right? So we'll see what happens next week. Like I said, it's one of these things where you want to try to string some of these wins together. They've won 2 of the 3 last games. And like I said, they should have won 3 in a row. They should have beaten the New Orleans Saints. And to me, they should have won that Cowboys game. The Giants really, to me, only have 2 losses. Or not only 2 losses, but to me, those are the 2 games that they lost. Right? The Chiefs and the Commanders, to me, are the only 2 teams that really beat them. The Cowboys game, they beat themselves. The New Orleans game, they beat themselves. 3, 4 turnovers, where they had in that game. And like I said, to me, the Giants should be 4-2. That would be a huge difference. And like I said, at least they should be 3-3, man. So shout out to the New York Giants. I know a lot of you guys are New York Giants fans. Like I said, I have no expectation of the Giants this season. Great for them to beating the Eagles. I'm waiting for them to beat the Cowboys. They haven't beat the Cowboys in like 4 years, man. It's really sad. Like I said, the Cowboys are not that great to me. The Eagles are a really good team. And this is their time, it seems. And the Giants were able to beat them. So I'm very confused with the Giants, man. Like I said, hopefully they can, remain consistent and take this as a stepping stone to some kind of consistency. I don't know how many games they're going to win this year. Who knows? That might have been their last win for the season. So we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, I'm not putting any stock in that win, but it was a great win for the Giants, man. We'll see what happens. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.